Alright, Woozy here with NeoWorlder, and today we're going to walk through the setup for how to get a persona set up to handle customers in the invisible onboarding flow. So we're on my demo account here, and basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to set up a persona with a couple skills, and then show basically how we can add more users through that campaign that we set up, so that the persona can basically help these new leads sign up for their own persona. So this is what we call kind of the onboarding flow or the invisible flow. And let's get started here. Okay, so today we're going to use the persona Dolores here to set up this flow. So basically at the end here we'll be able to submit new lead information into Dolores, and she'll be able to basically use those to provide a link back to the person in order for them to follow through the onboarding flow and set up their own persona. So let's hop back into the Life Lab here, and you can see in the skills section I'm going to point out the two that we're going to kind of use here today. So the first one here is the parser or the NeoWorlder inbound skill. Is going to be the first one we're going to use. This is going to allow us basically to submit new information to the persona that Dolores can then send the customized link back, onboarding link back to us here. So that'll be the first one. And then the second one, we're just going to use basically any campaign skill. We're going to use just the core conversation skill today. This will basically just allow us to set up our campaign and submit our and so that when we submit new leads, the campaign message goes out with that link here. So those are the two that we're kind of needing skill-wise here. Just to show, the core conversation doesn't really have anything special that it needs set up there. But for the parser, let's hop back into the back real fast. And click into some settings here. So a few things right off the bat here, and we'll hop into this next here, but we do need to set up a specific memory map that we'll have here. We will want this generate personalized link turned on. And for the details, basically we have our choice right now of real estate or automotive. We'll select real estate, and then let's go create our memory map next here. Okay, so continuing on here, I'm going to go ahead and set up our memory map. So things to know here is since we're doing real estate, we've got basically our client and company information up here on these first few columns. And then kind of the special fields are these last fields. This personalized link column is going to be basically how our system automatically creates the onboarding link every time a new lead is added to this memory map. This is going to allow them to basically, the persona to basically send that back out to the lead so that they can follow through and sign up for their own persona here. So we've got that saved. Let's just go ahead and create our memory map here. Okay, so we've got that set up there. We'll go ahead and create that. Okay, so our memory map template's loaded here. Let's go ahead and attach it to our persona and upload that first row of data here. All right, we've got Dolores with the core conversation skill that we're going to use in the campaign. We've got the NeoWorlder inbound skill that we'll use as the parser. We've got our memory map set up, and now we're going to hop into the Senses tab and create our actual campaign. This is basically what we're going to use the parser skill to add leads to, and then this campaign will send out the onboarding link to the leads that get added so that they can then go through the onboard invisible flow and sign up for their own persona here. So I'm going to pause, fill these in, and then I'll highlight a few fields here. Okay, so on our first basic information screen here, you've given it a title. We've got our persona Dolores, and we've got the memory map that we've just set up there here. Okay, and then our next one here, we're going to set up an email campaign, and our associated skill is going to be that core conversational skill that we talked there. For the optional fields, we won't actually add the parser skill here. We'll create an own preceptor for it in the back. Since we'll have it tied to the memory map, that's how it'll execute the new file here. For the next one here, this will be our email message. Okay, for the messaging, have a normal signature there. The key in the messaging body is that you want to make sure that you're using the backslash and then selecting that personalized link somewhere in the messaging. This is the link that the persona will create, and then when a new lead gets added to the campaign, it will send them this link that they can then click and then follow through there. So that is kind of the key in the messaging right there. And then stats and filters, we should be fine. So we'll go ahead and create there, and we're going to leave it in the draft status for just, or create the status for just a second here. Okay, and we need to make sure that our parser, the NeoWorlder inbound skill, is connected to our memory map. So before we actually finish our setup here, we're going to hop back into the Life Lab, and we're going to configure that. All right, we'll hop into this node here. All right. And we're going to use the memory map that we had just created, this invisible onboarding setup demo. We do want it to generalize the personal link, so we'll make sure this is on. We'll pretend like this was a demo for real estate. And again, we're going to select our memory map here in the same column. So we'll configure that and click Save. And we should be basically ready to turn our campaign on here now. So before we do that, I am going to go ahead and make that Perceptor. So let's go back to our Dolores persona. We're going to add a new. This will be a Mailgun Perceptor. And we want to add the parser, this NeoWorlder inbound skill here. And we'll click Save. This is going to allow us to actually add more people into our campaign here. Alright, so there's our link here. And let's start the campaign and test it out here. So let's come back here and start. Alright, it gave me an error there because on the recipient's email column here, I had name. I wanted that email there. So let's get that fixed up. Alright, now we should be good to start there. Okay. That should be going out to my mark +1 that I had in my first row of my memory map there. Okay, sure enough, we got that email. When we click in, you can see that it went to my mark +1, and we've got the onboarding link. Let's go ahead and click through here. Let me back out and clear cookies real fast. Alright, let's try that again. Not logged into everything there. Oh, come on. Oh, I know what I'm doing here. So that was the test one I had in my first one here. So let's actually add in a persona the correct way through the parser skill, and then we'll test it this way here. Okay, sorry, yeah, let's back up a step there. So that first one that was sending was just the test information I had in my memory map. Let's actually now add a new lead here. So you can see in the Life Lab under Dolores, I've got the NeoWorlder inbound parser that we had set up here with this Mailgun email here. And then you can also see that when I started the campaign, it did go ahead and automatically make the Perceptor down here that's the campaign Perceptor here. But the one we want to use right now is this one for the parser. So let's go ahead and copy that. We're going to flop back into my email here, and we're going to basically send that email that I have copied here, new lead information here. So remembering our memory map that we had originally here had those columns at the top, company name, address, email, all those fun things. We basically added them in here, and then now when I submit this into the parser skill, the persona Dolores is going to basically add this information to the memory map and send me off that initial campaign message. When she does this time, she's going to create an automatic link for me that I'll be able to follow through that onboarding here. So we'll follow that in just a second. Okay, so it looks like we got that next message here. We can see that this one did come to my mark +2 address here, and you can see we've got a full link here now. So let's go ahead and try to crawl through that one there. All right, we'll quickly go through this. All right, you can see here's the info I submitted there. Add in a phone number. And we are into the flow here. So I don't have any personas set up to be selected here. So my guess is that when we select a few skills, nothing's going to be there. But you can see that we're going through the flow here. And that is the full setup for how to create a persona with the invisible onboarding flow setup, start that campaign, attach the skills, and get it running.